Time for a bathroom movie review. Yesterday, I was able to go watch I Can Only Imagine 2, and I didn't even realize this film was coming out. It just kind of snuck up on me. I saw some posters at the theater, and I'm like, all right, I like the first one, but I was pretty hesitant because how do you make a sequel to a Christian-based true story film? I honestly just figured it would focus on a different group and Bart Millard would just kind of be a cameo in it at some point. I was wrong. I was very, very, very wrong. The premise of this film follows the first I Can Only Imagine movie, wherein in that one it shows how Bart was abused growing up, his trauma, finding faith, and coming out with the song I Can Only Imagine, the #1 song in history as far as Christian songs go. In this sequel, we see Bart and his wife Shannon as they're raising their son Sam, who has diabetes type 1. I think it's type 1. Whichever one is really bad. And we see them struggling. We see Bart still going through trauma of being abused as a kid and losing his dad. And the most interesting part is we have a newcomer, Tim Timmons, another Christian singer who plays a really big role in this movie as they go on tour. So let's jump right into it. What went right with this movie? First of all, as far as Christian faith-based films go, a lot of them can be pretty cheesy.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
I mean, they teach good messages. I will not deny that. But a lot of the time, it's just really poor CGI when they try to show something. Like, I feel like some of them have, like, a house fire, and it just looks like I'm in paint. It's like, oh, yeah, that looks good. Like, $5 budget. And then you just get a lot of scenes in the concert where people just kind of hold their heart and go, yeah, woo, yeah. Once again, not a bad thing, but sometimes those are kind of the highlights, which kind of sad. But I Can Only Imagine and now its sequel have elevated the quality so much. Sure, there are things we'll get to later in this review that maybe didn't work the best, but still great films and an example to other Christian directors of where we can go. Come on, let's step it up. The other thing that works really well that I never thought about before, and honestly I would have thought was just kind of a cash grab before, was getting a sequel to a movie like I Can Only Imagine. I mean, what do you do after you see this guy start a band and go from the bottom of being an abused child to the top of forgiving his father, having a relationship, and then writing the #1 Christian song ever? Like, what do you do for a sequel? Well, what they did was fantastic. They showed the reality of trials don't just happen once. You don't reach this peak in life and then it just never falls again. Life is peaks and waves. And I appreciated that about this film. Bart's a good guy, but we see him struggling to be a father. We see different trials. And it was just a reminder to me of, hey, it's okay if you reach a peak and fall again. You just keep getting better and you keep learning. And this movie really drilled that home in multiple ways with basically 2 different stories. That's another thing I really liked. You've got Bart stuff going on with his son, but then you have this new character, Tim Timmons, and his story going on, which was definitely heartfelt. Definitely hit me right here. Speaking of Tim Timmons, let's talk about the actors for a minute. The actor that plays Bart and the actress that plays Shannon do a great job. It's believable. They sell it well. And the actress for Shannon is actually a new actress in the first movie, but I didn't even notice because she sells it well. Their son Sam, I haven't seen him in anything else that I know of, but does a decent job. But my favorite actor in the movie was Milo Ventimiglia. He played Tim Timmons. He was also in Gilmore Girls. Not that I watched that like 2 or 3 times because that would take away my masculinity. And let's just be real, I'm pretty masculine. Oh, fun fact. In this movie, Tim Timmons' wife is played by Ariel Kebble. Ariel Kebble. And she also is in Gilmore Girls, which I heard from a friend of a friend because, like I said, masculine. But I did not know Milo could act so well. I saw him in Heroes. I saw him in Gilmore Girls. There's another movie. I can't remember. Oh, Rocky. He plays Rocky Balboa's son. And in all those roles, he's very serious, not a lot of range. But this movie showed his range, so now I want to see other things. He's hilarious. He's confident. He makes you tear up at times. He's got it all. He was definitely the star of the movie, in my opinion, that made it. Without him, the sequel would have been decently average, but with him, elevated it so much. He brought the heart that went beyond the diabetes story with Sam and Bart trying to help his son, which, like I said, diabetes, it's a serious thing. Maybe I just know so many people that have diabetes that I didn't take it more seriously in the movie because they really sold it as like how terrible it is. And I do agree it's a challenge, but I feel like you just know so many people nowadays that have diabetes and need insulin that I guess I'm desensitized, which probably isn't the best thing. But Tim took me out of that and made me feel even more. And then there's Trace Adkins, which I forgot he was in these movies. He plays the manager of the band Mercy Me. And I wouldn't say he's doing a lot of acting. Like, I don't know if I'd say he's a good actor, but at the same time, I feel like he's just being himself. He just represents all the older, gruff country people out there. He's funny, he's got that southern drawl, and he just has lines that sound really wise, but also funny at times. So I think Trace did a good job being Trace. And then the other great thing is just having movies like this. I love Marvel, I love other fantasy films, I love horror, I love action. But it's nice to have some more uplifting faith-based films. Even for people that aren't rooted in faith, we can still watch these and learn about forgiveness or hope or just loving your family. You know, it's good to feel uplifted sometimes. But as with most things, there are some moments. The main thing I'll point out is at times the drama does feel forced. I mean, some of the main events, not at all. It makes sense why they're so tough or sad, but there are other moments where I'm like, once again, this probably sounds awful, but I'm like, I know diabetes is tough, but they made this like the whole identity of this kid. And maybe that's really how it was, but sometimes it just kind of felt like, it's a movie. We got to amp up certain parts. Kind of cheesy at times with some of the drama. But beyond that, not too many complaints. I mean, there was this one scene with a meteor because the sun had never seen a shooting star. What do you call it, a meteor, right? A shooting star is a meteor coming to Earth, not a comet. Let's just call it a hunk of rock entering Earth's atmosphere. But the CGI was kind of whatever, but it's believable. At least they're not showing a whole house on fire like other faith-based films where it looks just like something made in paint. So I'll let it slide. Comparing this to the first movie is where I had the hardest time. I haven't seen the first movie in a couple years. I will say, I think the first movie tugged at my heartstrings. Well, actually, no. I know it tugged at my heartstrings more. Because in the second movie, my eyes got a little moist. But alas, no tears fell. But in the first, man, I was crying like a baby. I was just done. Though I wouldn't say that means it was a better movie. I'll need to go watch it and figure it out. But have you seen this movie? Which one did you like more? And what are some of your favorite faith-based films or even just uplifting, happy stories? Anyways, thanks for joining me today. Keep coming back if you like movie reviews, movie news, or just seeing the guy talk about movies in the bathroom, which sometimes we do.